Hey guys, welcome in. Hope you're having a great Monday. It's a Rob Kendall show. Thanks so much for joining us. 2 hours of Indiana news, politics, and government. Before we get to the show, a couple of reminders. Don't forget the website, robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. You know, we talked about this billboard that we've got up on 65 down near Greenwood. You can see it. robkendallshow.com. You want to see the billboard, robkendallshow.com. Of course, we got the live link there, all the on-demand podcast links, Apple, Spotify, all the places you get the show on demand. We've got articles from some of our favorite transcripts each day. Great articles, fun to read. A lot of people like doing that. And of course, we've got the support button. If you like what we're doing, help us out. robkendallshow.com, hit that support button. Coming up here in just a little bit, we're going to do something cool with the support button. For those of you who have been big fans of the show for a long time, I think you'll appreciate this. In the meantime, over the weekend, Rochelle, Brittany, Tony, and Louis Ann all generously hitting the support button, robkendallshow.com, and helping us keep things rolling here at the Rob Kendall Show. A couple other things that you can do to help us out. We call these little housekeeping news and notes. First of all, hit the thumbs up button. Let us know you like the show. That really helps us with YouTube. If you haven't, subscribe to the channel. Great numbers over the weekend. Great subscriber numbers going up. My goal is to get us to 2,500 subscribers by the end of the day today. If you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. And last but certainly not least, wherever you're at, in the continental United States or anywhere in the world, share the feed. If you got a Facebook page, if you got a Twitter account, let people know, here's where we're at, here's what we're doing. 2 hours a day, every day of Indiana news, politics, and government. All right, before we get to, and there was some monumental news that relates to the city of Indianapolis over the weekend, I want to tell you about one of a fabulous, great new sponsor we've got here on the Rob Kendall Show, Seal Now. Is your driveway showing signs of wear, freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt, all can cause unsightly damage that could end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help protect your outdoor surfaces. And man, these guys do incredible work that goes far beyond the basics. Decorative concrete patios, including stamped concrete, exposed aggregate concrete ceiling, concrete staining to add color, along with protection and more. But they do a lot more than just concrete. They do decks, they do fences, pergolas, any exterior concrete or wood outdoor structure that needs cleaned or maintained. Seal Now, they're the guys. Call today. These guys do awesome work. 317-548-2002, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com, sealnow.com. Not only when you mention the Rob Kendall Show, you get a free estimate, but you're going to get 20% off any long-term sealing project. When you call Seal Now, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com, sealnow.com. You mention Rob Kendall Show, and you're going to get 20% off any long-term sealing project, sealnow.com. Okay, guys, huge news over the weekend. Sad news actually came down late Friday evening, and that was that Bob Kevoian, the one half of the legendary Bob and Tom Show, passed away at the age of 75. He had battled cancer for several years. And look, our show is Indiana news, politics, and government. And those of you who are longtime listeners and viewers, you know, primarily that's what we do, politics and government. But the news is the first part of it. And the response to the passing of Bob Kevoian, I said, this has to be the lead story that we talk about on the show today. Because, look, guys, there's very few things that surprise me with anything Indiana media anymore. But the response to Bob Kevoian's passing, it just blew me away. Because not only did all the media people pay tribute to him and talk about some of the things we'll talk about here in just a moment, but I was blown away by the regular people, like the regular everyday folks, the amount of people who had incredible things to say about Bob Kevoian, not just his radio talent, but who he was as a human being and the impact that he had on people, and the personal accounts of the numerous times Bob Kevoian went out of his way to people who were complete strangers to him. They'd see him at a restaurant, or they'd see him out at an event, and he would just pull up a chair and start talking to complete and total strangers. And I, look, it warmed my heart to see the amount of people. I was talking with somebody over the weekend and I said, there is a bigger response to the passing of Bob Kevoian than if a governor or senator had passed away. And it speaks to the profound impact that Bob and Tom had on this city. I never met Bob Kevoian personally, but I have a very close connection to the Bob and Tom show because Jay Baker is one of my best friends and radio mentor. And if you guys have enjoyed my radio career, enjoyed the stuff at WIBC, those of you who go way back who enjoyed the stuff even before WIBC, so much of that has come out of what I learned and what I picked up from Jay Baker. And many of you know Jay Baker was an integral part of the Bob and Tom show at the height of the Bob and Tom show. Dick's Picks, the Love Brothers, all of these great things that Jay did that was a part of Bob and Tom at their height of local dominance. And that's what the Bob and Tom show was. It was local dominance. In the 1980s and the 1990s, Bob and Tom reached heights in this city that were never before seen. And quite frankly, will never, ever, not only never be seen again, they'll never be close. The radio landscape, the media landscape has changed way too much. There are far fewer people listening to the radio every day. These guys were doing a 25 plus share. That means a fourth of the radios at one point in the 80s and 90s. One out of every four radios was tuned to Bob and Tom at a time where radio was arguably at its peak influence. These guys were the most important voice, not only in the city, but in the state. And, it's fascinating to me because Bob had been retired for 10 years. And I think that's one of the things that really caught me off guard was like our industry, people, they get remembered, right? Sort of, kind of. But usually when a guy's been gone for a long period of time, because so many people, quite frankly, they move on, they get other listening habits in some cases, especially with the older generation, which are now the original Bob and Tom listeners. They are the older generation. They pass away. And the fact that Bob Kevoian had been out of the radio spotlight, the public spotlight, really, in terms of doing a daily radio show for 10 years, and that there was just this outpouring of love and support and emotion from people. It just speaks to the life that this guy lived. And I think there's two facets to Bob Kevoian and why he was so fondly remembered. And I want to talk a little bit about both of them. And first of all, obviously you get to the radio component, the radio side. Bob and Tom, and we talk a lot about like Mount Rushmore lists on our show, like the Mount Rushmore of this or the Mount Rushmore of that. Bob and Tom are certainly Mount Rushmore figures, and I put them as one guy, even though they're two separate guys, but it's one entity. Bob and Tom are Mount Rushmore in a variety of places. They're Mount Rushmore, obviously, in the history of most influential people in the city of Indianapolis. I'm talking politicians, I'm talking sports stars, I'm talking the whole thing. They're Mount Rushmore, I think, of most influential people in the history of our state. And again, I'm talking politicians, I'm talking athletes, I'm talking coaches, I'm talking anything. And they're probably Mount Rushmore in terms of the most influential people in the history of our radio business. They're certainly right up there with Rush. They're right up there with Howard Stern. You go way, way back, guys like Marconi, who essentially invented the airwaves, right? But these guys had such an impact, and they were so different, and they pushed the envelope. But in the early days of Bob and Tom, they were cool because they pushed the envelope inside the city we knew and loved. And, the amazing thing, and the more I thought about the outpouring, like I just kept scrolling through Facebook, and it was just one person after another. And again, far beyond the media people. I would have expected it from the media people. And you got it from so many people. But the regular people, it was, and this was what, and then I started reading this and go, well, yeah, of course, right? Bob and Tom were unique because they came in the mid-1980s, 1983, they come to Indianapolis. You've still got the greatest generation that's still working, sort of at the end of their working lives. So they're consuming Bob and Tom. You've got the baby boomer generation who is sort of starting their ascend into the workforce. They're consuming Bob and Tom. And then you have my generation, the millennials, the Gen Xers, who were kids, but because your parents and grandparents consumed Bob and Tom, you consumed it as well every day. So literally, I mean, this is amazing. You'll never see this ever again. You had 3 generations of people who were their morning commute, their morning engagement, their morning waking. I mean, so many people my age were like, I remember my parents' alarm going off. I'd like my memories, my childhood memories, 6 a.m. And this was me. And I was thinking, yes, damn it, this is me too. I can remember. So, I grew up in a 2-story house, and my parents' bedrooms were upstairs. There was a little hallway between our bedrooms. And I can distinctly remember every morning as a kid hearing that alarm go off. And it was the old alarm where you'd hear like a little click before it would start playing music. Like, you guys remember where the clock would move? It was a not a digital clock, flip clock. Yes, thank you, Jason. It was a flip clock. And I can remember hearing that. It's like the memories Bob Kevoian's passing triggered for me, and hearing other people's memories. It was like one last great hurrah for Bob Kevoian, where for a guy who had such impact on the city. Look, I know I'm going all over the place with this, and I thought about this on the drive in this morning. Like, how am I even going to do this? I was like, I'm just going to start talking, because there's no great way to do this, because there's so many areas to cover. But like, somebody was talking about this, I was like, yes. Like, I remember this. I could remember if I would wake up early, hearing that flip of the clock, and then that alarm would kick on, and it would be the Bob and Tom show. And so you literally have 3 generations of people who have incredible memories about the content that Bob and Tom did. And one of the amazing things about Bob and Tom was they were ours, right? Even when they went nationally syndicated, at least in the early days of it, they still kept a local flavor to it. And as they grew, it was like a part of us grew with them. And obviously then by the 2000s, by the time that came around, they got so big and they had to cut out the local content, and they just kind of, other than they still had local breaks that they would do related to Q95. But 3 generations of people grew up hearing those guys laugh. They grew up having those guys make us laugh. And Tom was talking about this Friday night. I don't know if you guys have heard this. It's been posted. Wait until our show's over, but go listen to it afterwards. Q95 posted it. Gunner, who's the afternoon guy now, he's been all over the place on the history of Q. He's done a million different things. Gunner and Tom went live on the air Friday night at about 10 o'clock. And I was listening to it. Somebody alerted me, say, hey, Gunner and Tom are on, and they're talking about Bob. And one of the things Tom was talking about was Bob and Tom were special. And this is an art that has been lost on our industry. It's been an art that's been lost in the podcasting side, certainly. I think a big portion of it is there are cameras in the room now, so it's harder for people to do this. Harder for people to train themselves to do it. It's been lost in the radio industry. It's been lost in television. They were just 2 guys having a conversation with themselves, and you got to listen to it. Especially the early stuff. And then obviously when they incorporated people like Jay Baker and Chick McGee and Christy Lee, and then they became this sort of entourage of people after they grew quickly in the mid 80s. But it was always, no matter what, Mark Patrick, Mark Much, all of those guys, Dog, when Dog was in with them, Pat Carlini. It was always like just friends having a conversation that you got the privilege of listening into. And the thing about Bob was he was so damn nice and approachable. Jake Query, who does what does he do? He does the midday show on The Fan, said, and I thought this was a perfect way to describe Bob. He said, I think he said something like, take the 10 best qualities of your 10 closest friends, and that's Bob Kevoian. And I was like, seeing all these people post about him and talk about him and their personal encounters with him. Some guy was like, I was sitting at a restaurant. Bob sits down. We didn't want to bother him. He just pulls up a chair and starts talking to us for 30 minutes. And it's just one account like this after another. Bob was the person you saw or you listened to on the radio. He was that friendly voice. He was that really decent and good human being. And so I remember this conversation I had with my dad. This was 20 years ago. And it was at a time, so I would have been in my early 20s. Like all the guys that I grew up watching play sports were starting to retire, like the Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas, that era of player. And I remember saying, man, this is really depressing. Like all these guys I grew up watching, they're retiring. And my dad looked at me and he was being very serious. He goes, just wait till they start dying. And I thought, well, that's kind of morbid. And then he said, no. It's like we had this conversation about this. He said, literally these people, they live on for long periods as athletes, the autograph signings, the TV appearances. But he said there'll come a point where these guys start dying, and that really will start making you feel old and like a part of you has left. And that is true. It's happening more and more as I have entered my 40s. And that's sort of what it felt like Friday with the announcement that Bob Kevoian had passed away. And there had been photos that had surfaced of him with Tom. He looked very thin. He looked very frail. Obviously, he'd been battling cancer for several years. But it was like, wow, a huge part of my childhood is gone. A huge part of growing up is no longer here. Bob and Tom still exists. It's still a radio show. But, and if we're being honest with ourselves, it hasn't been the same for probably the past 15 years. Certainly as they've grown, they've gone into syndication. They've had the TV show. It would never be the same. There's no way to make it the same. You can't have the show they had in 1990 when you're on, whatever they're on, 60, 70. I don't know the number. I'm not trying to insult them if I'm low. I don't know how many stations they're on now. But you can't have that show. You can't do a show that's Indianapolis-centric. But it really says something about these two guys and the impact that they had. The one, Bob's been out of the business for 10 years. The show hasn't been the show for close to 20. The show that people grew up with, the show that people became men and women with, the show that people grew old with. That show hasn't been the show in probably 20 years. And yet, it's just an outpouring of love and support and emotion and happiness. And one other thing I wanted to touch on, and I know I spent a lot of time on this, but I'm telling you guys, in the history of the city of Indianapolis, there are a few people, if any, that had a bigger impact and were more important and meant more to more people over a long period of time than Bob and Tom. I mean, guys, for the younger people that are watching, and I say, how many younger people could there be? I picked up my car this morning. Guy that had been working on the car and checked me out. He pulls the thing up. He goes, "Are you the Rob Kendall?" Yeah, that's what it says on my birth certificate. And he goes, "Man, I just love you." He goes, "It is you." He starts looking at me. He goes, "It is you." And then a guy in line behind me pulls up and goes, just goes, "Hey, I'm going home to watch you later today." And like, this is like, you lose track of the impact that what we do has on people. And by the way, this guy's 37. And so when I say for the young people that are watching, there are a lot of younger people. We can see the demos. We can see the numbers of people who watch. There are a lot of younger people who do watch, especially now that we're on YouTube and on the podcast platform, what we do. But one of the things, and look, I've only scratched a fraction of the listenership, the popularity, if you want to call it, the notoriety, whatever word you want to use, the Bob and Tom had. I don't ever pretend to be on the same planet as those guys. But it is easy for us in our business to lose track of the impact that we have on people. It's easy for us because so much of it, it's like, to me, it's just Jason and I sitting in a room. And now, obviously, I'm talking directly to a camera. It's different now. I don't have a partner in the sense of, like, when I was working with someone else or someone else was in the room for all those years. And look, I've been candid with you guys. This is the show I always wanted to do. But you lose track. And I did a morning show. We talked about this a little bit in North Carolina where I was by myself. So you lose track wherever, whether you're with somebody, by yourself, whatever, that there are thousands and thousands of people that you're having an impact on. And, we do on this show now. We're doing, as we said, between 2,500 and 3,000 listeners and viewers a day across the platforms, which is phenomenal. It's amazing for a podcast just getting off the ground. When I was on IBC, shorter time listening for each person, but we were doing tens of thousands of people. In our business, it's easy to lose track of the impact that you have on people, that you become a part of someone's family, that you become a part of their life, that there is this connection, that you sort of become a voice for people. And Bob and Tom were not a voice sort of like I am in the political sense. That wasn't what they did. But they were something much different. They were like family. They were like your friends, your neighbors. And I think Bob Kevoian was always very cognizant of that. I think he was always very aware of that. And that is why nobody, not one person has a bad thing to say about this guy. It was his talent. It was his ability to entertain. And it was his kindness and his generosity as a human being. And man, what a life to have lived, to know that when you pass, so he was surrounded by his loved ones. He went listening to his all-time favorite Beatles album. And you go knowing that in a positive way, where almost every single person, the probably millions of people Bob had contact with in his life through the radio and in-person contact, pretty much every single one of them loved you. You had a positive impact on their life. Just what a life lived. And so I know we spent a lot of time on this today, but Bob Kevoian, Bob and Tom, they have earned it. They deserve it. And God bless Bob Kevoian. And it's through the 6 degrees of separation of Bob. If there's no Bob Kevoian, there's probably no Jay Baker. And if there's no Jay Baker, there's no Rob Kendall. So I thought it was worth spending some time on. Hey, Double D's Barbecue. Owners Dennis and Tina Duncan, along with their son Garrett, they are from Memphis. So when it comes to barbecue, they are not screwing around. At Double D's Barbecue in Clayton, they're right at the corner there, 40 and 39, really easy to get to in Clayton. No pellet smokers, no roasters, just authentic wood-smoked Memphis-style barbecue. And because the Duncans are from Memphis, their restaurant, it's Elvis themed. Any of you guys out there, Elvis fans, you got to go, even if the food was horrible, which it's not, you got to go just for the Elvis decor. It's like a mini Elvis museum. And of course, that also means catfish on Fridays and Saturdays. And by the way, Double D's, they bring the receipts. They've been winner of both Best Ribs and Best Sauce at Rib Fest in Hendricks County. Like I said, Double D's, located near 39 and 40 in Clayton, open all day, Wednesday through Saturday. So make your plans for this week. They're open Wednesday through Saturday. By the way, guys, you got to get there early because once they're sold out, they're done and they sell out a lot. So make sure to, if you're doing dinner, if you're doing lunch, get there early Wednesday through Saturday. Check out the full menu, ribs, brisket, and more at DoubleDBBQ317.com. DDBBQ317.com. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we were proven right about something over the weekend. Somebody came to town, and the response was what we said it would be. We'll take a victory lap when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, helps us out a lot. Hit that little thumbs up button. Hit the little thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel and share the feed. Help us grow. We have to do it through you. Look, we don't have a huge entourage behind us. We don't have big corporate dollars. It's just an all local radio show on video now. So I guess it's an all local video podcast that you can also get on all the other podcasting platforms. Apple, Spotify, you name it. Rob Kendall Show, live each day, 10 until noon on YouTube, and then on demand wherever you get your podcast. But guys, we can't grow without you. And so what we need you to do each day, if you feel like helping us out, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, share this feed. There's a share button on YouTube, and you can send it wherever you want to send it. Let people know we're here. Let people know we're growing. All right, so we've tried to say this for several months now, and these candidates, they will not listen. And Election Day is, what is it? Is it 2 weeks away? What is it? Today's the 20th. Yeah, basically I think tomorrow. Is that right? 2 weeks from tomorrow. Yeah, May the 5th. And so we'll find out soon whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong. We'll find out here soon enough. But local elections are about local stuff. And I consider a state Senate race to be a local election. Now, it covers multiple counties in many cases, most cases. But I consider that the issues, the things that matter, are generally communities that are connected, populations that are connected, and they tend to care about a lot of the same things. Now, an issue in Greenwood might be different than an issue in Columbus, or an issue in Brownsburg might be different than an issue in Avon, but in general, it's like-minded stuff, like-minded interest. And that is why I've said for the past several months, look, I want incumbent senators, for the most part, to lose. Most of these 40 in the Republican, is it 40 or 41 now? Whatever the number is, in the Republican supermajority have done a horrible job. They've done an absolutely horrendous job governing our state. Our taxes have never been higher. The return on investment has never been lower. The special interest dollars that have been doled out of our money, money given to select groups at the expense of all of us has never been greater. I mean, just look at the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. The amount of money that gets taken from us and given to the richest, most powerful people in our country, in the world, the importing of foreign workers for many of these jobs, the condition of our roads, our Medicaid system, it's all the public education. It's god awful. Like, we do this. Well, thank goodness we're not Illinois. Well, are we that much worse? I mean, that is a pretty, I almost said it. That is a pretty crappy way to judge yourself. Well, at least we're not Illinois. We're better than those bastards next door. Like, come on. But that's our standard. When you hit these politicians with what a bad job they're doing, their response to you is, well, what about Michigan? There is no defense for what they're doing. So with that in mind, I'm not a fan of any of these people who are up for re-election. I'm not cheerleading for any of these people to win. But I also have been around long enough to recognize that you're not going to beat them unless you run on issues that resonate to people in the community that you want to serve. Thank you. Jason reminded me it is 420 day, which in the state of Illinois, you can partake in certain substances you can't here. You know, true story. I've never, ever smoked marijuana. Ever. I've never done a drug, an illegal drug of any sort. I'm crazy enough. I am crazy enough as. Now, have I drank excessively? Many times. But as long as you don't get behind the wheel of a large automobile, you're fine. or harass anybody else, you're fine. But the point is, these elections, state Senate elections, state House elections, are almost always won around local issues that are impacting local communities. And there are so many issues coming out of the state house that are impacting local communities. And I have been just so upset that these challengers to these incumbent senators have essentially blown the opportunity to, one, motivate voters to be excited about their campaign, and two, missed an opportunity to enter the state house with a collective mandate because they have not spent their time with a unified voice talking about pooling resources, having a collective conversation, one, about the key issues: property taxes, utility bills, tolling, our roads as a collective, public education, the Medicaid system, all of these things. You know my theory on elections. They're all door hanger elections on local races. You pick four things, you put them great big on a door hanger, you'll ride or die with those four things. You're going to live or die with those four things. Pick good issues, you're probably going to win. Get the word out about those four issues, how you plan to do it. And think about it, you have 7-8 people across our state in a unified voice having a door hanger election on the four big things: property taxes, utility bills, whatever you want to make the other two. And these people haven't done any of that because they have ceded their entire campaign to the Trump administration and Turning Point USA. And Trump administration and Turning Point USA and the money that comes with them, they don't give a crap about our property taxes. They don't give a crap about our utility bills. They don't care about the excessive tolling, which are tax increases, which are coming towards us. The only thing they care about is making Trump happy. And what's Trump upset about? Trump's upset about redistricting because that affects Trump. And so I've begged, I've pleaded with these people. I've said, you have to stop being beholden to people who don't live in our state. Look, Turning Point USA, no pun intended, proved they couldn't turn people out during the redistricting debate. They had multiple rallies and hardly anyone showed up. Certainly there were no new people. There was the hardcore, the diehards, the hardcore, 30 people or whatever. And then you put them with the Turning Point USA people and the political people. And then you got, maybe 100 people. But there was nothing like what we did with the property tax rally, where there, 1,000 people and there are people showing up. I've never been to a rally before. There was none of that. And so I have been very critical of the way these people have run, because I believe most of them are going to lose. Because they have not given the public a viable alternative. The public is not mad about redistricting, the public at large. They are not. Poll after poll after poll after poll showed they weren't. When Greg Good, the senator in Terre Haute, had his public town hall where anybody could show up to speak, not one person showed up to speak in support of redistricting. Not one. 70 plus showed up in opposition. When the public speaking was available at the State House for the bill, it was easily 2-1 against. I know, I was there. I waited for several hours to speak. The polling, including those done by Republican polling firms, showed people were against redistricting. So it is a fool's errand, a cardinal sin, a political death sentence to make your entire campaign about this one issue. I was having a conversation with a member of the media last night who's been covering one of these Senate races. And I said, why did these people do this? And he said, because it was part of the deal. It was part of the deal in order to get the Turning Point people, in order to get the Trump administration, in order to get Scott Pressler, who we'll talk about in a second. Spoken or unspoken, it was made clear you have to talk about redistricting. You have to talk about how Trump got screwed. You have to make this the central part of your campaign. And these people, instead of thinking it through logically, which is how do we win a local race? We win a local race on local issues. They got starry-eyed by the idea of the White House or getting invited to the White House or a photo op with Trump. And they ceded this ground, which is going to make it almost impossible for them to win. I've asked this question over and over and over again, and no one will give me an answer. So you're running on redistricting. You knock at the door. Mr. Smith, you need to vote for me. Why? Because we got screwed on redistricting. But I either was against redistricting or didn't care about redistricting. Yeah, but you got screwed. Oh, okay, thanks. Like, what? That doesn't motivate people to vote for you. Either people were apathetic to an issue or they were against the issue. And every single poll that came out, public poll that was released, said that exact same thing, including the Republican polls done by Republican firms. And yet, the campaigns collectively have been about that. And so that brings me to Scott Pressler coming to Indiana over the weekend. If you don't know who Scott Pressler is, you're in the vast majority of Americans. Most people have no idea who this guy is, and these challengers treated it as though a Taylor Swift was coming to their community. And what did I say for weeks? I said, you're making a huge mistake, centralizing your campaign, letting all the oxygen of your campaign being centered around a guy who most people don't know who he is. For those of you who don't know, I know most of you watching me are of the most informed. You probably know who this guy is. But Scott Pressler, in 2024, dedicated essentially a year of his life to registering people to vote for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. And there's no doubt Scott Pressler played a big role in Donald Trump winning in Pennsylvania. He absolutely did. But that's because he was in Pennsylvania, for pretty much a year. He was organized. He did much of his own organization, and he built relationships over a period of time and a somewhat Pennsylvania specific quasi-celebrity type of status. In Indiana, that means nothing. Scott Pressler went to New Jersey last year. He went to Virginia last year. How did those elections turn out? Those governor's races went for the Democrat. Why? Because he didn't build the relationships. He didn't have a year. He didn't put the effort in. He sort of essentially said, as many people often do, and I'm not blaming the guy, he just basically said, I'm a celebrity now. Because in Scott Pressler's world, he is a celebrity. On Twitter, in conservative Twitter, in Trump Twitter, he is a celebrity. That means nothing to the average American. It means nothing. What would the stat is like one out of every 5 people is on Twitter. And of the 1 out of every 5 people on Twitter, you're talking a fraction of the people on Twitter who actually are in that orbit. Yeah, if he goes to CPAC, he's probably a big deal. But that's not how you win a state Senate race in Indiana, certainly not 7 of them or 8 of them. And I said, you Senate candidates are making an egregious mistake thinking that this guy is going to ride in like some, knight in shining armor on a white horse and deliver the election. Most people don't care about this guy. It's not his fault. It is his fault because he thinks people care about him. But people are not going to show up because Scott Pressler is there. And people are like, oh, you don't get it, Rob. Oh, you don't understand, Rob. Oh, you're just angry, Rob. I don't get this. And I'm angry because you guys are going to lose. I'm angry because you won't listen. Because you're listening to outside people who don't know our state. I would love for pretty much all of these incumbents to lose. They ain't going to lose. Some of them might. Just because if you run enough challengers, you're naturally through war of attrition on some people like a Michelle Davis in Johnson County, Bartholomew County. She's a state rep. She's a known quantity. She might win. Another one of these people may win. But you're not going to win in any sort of number necessary to walk in with a mandate. And even if you did win all the races, you don't have a mandate because you guys didn't run on anything. Redistricting is not going to happen. It's over. It's done with. Even people who are for it have moved on from it. It's over. Indiana made its choice. Let's fix the things that matter. So Scott Pressler comes and he does these stops across the state. He was in Terre Haute. He was in Lafayette. He was in Johnson County. Every one of these stops, there's more people at your family reunion or your family barbecue than to see this guy. Like they for some reason posted a photo showing the crowd or lack thereof in Terre Haute. It was a disaster. It was like 20 people maybe. And a bunch of the people I recognize in the photo were Turning Point people or people with the campaign for Brenda Wilson, who he was there to support. There might have been 10 legitimate people there. Johnson County, Adam Wren from Politico posted a photo, 50 people, max. Hammer and I did 250 people in a paid event. Like you had to pay to see us. We got 250. In Johnson County, same county. So we can do an apples to apples comparison. More people paid to see Jason Hammer and myself than went to for free to see this guy who's supposedly the greatest thing since sliced bread. Again, I'm not blaming the guy other than he builds himself up as some sort of king maker, difference maker. And the reality is you're 1 out of 2, buddy. Well, you're 1 out of 3. You did it in Pennsylvania, which is great. You failed miserably in Virginia and in New Jersey. And now you're about to fail in Indiana. That dude is not Indiana. He knows nothing about our state. He knows nothing about these candidates other than what he's been told. He thinks he's convinced himself, or it's just a grift, I don't know, that redistricting is some huge issue here. It's not. He's here to curry favor with the Trump administration. That's what he's doing. That's what he does. He uses people. He goes to places and he does things to make Trump happy. And he convinces you that a bunch of people feel the same way Trump does about something. They don't. There have been numerous articles now written interviewing people in these various Senate districts. They don't care about redistricting. The Star did a huge expose on that Sullivan, Vigo, and Clay County Senate district. They interviewed a bunch of people on the ground. They're like, we don't care. We voted for Trump, but we don't care. We're not going to vote based on who Trump tells us to vote for. We don't care. And yet these Senate candidates, these challengers, can't get it through their thick skulls that you win or you lose local races on local issues. You have to convince people why the incumbent sucks at his job or her job and why you're going to do better. And just beating people's heads into the ground over redistricting that they don't care about, or if they did care about it, they weren't for it, is not the way to do it. I was right about Scott Pressler. Those crowds were a disaster. They were an embarrassment. They were a joke. All that hoopla, all that this and that, and 50 people, 10 people. No. So when you guys lose, and the majority of you will lose, the first thing you think of is, damn, I should have listened to Rob Kendall instead of Turning Point USA. These people are not your friends. They're not our friends. They don't give a damn about us. If they did, they would have helped us last year with the property tax rally. I put 1,000 people in the State House. Where was the Trump administration then when it could have helped you? Where was Turning Point USA when it could have helped you? Where was Scott Pressler when it could have helped you? They're not here to help you. They're here to help Trump. That's why they exist. They're an arm of the MAGA movement, period. They don't care that your utility bills have tripled. They would do something about it. They don't care that your property taxes have quadrupled. They would do something about it. We gave them every opportunity. We did all the work. And they did nothing. Guys, don't leave your biggest investment to chance. Work with Lauren Wilson, a realtor who is Hoosier through and through. A military vet dedicated to a higher standard of service. Lauren Wilson is here and ready to help you start your next chapter. Real estate is about big life changes. Lauren Wilson gets that. Whether you're upgrading for a growing family or downsizing for retirement, Lauren provides a hands-on experience that takes the stress out of the process. She's all about clear communication and deep local roots. Give Lauren Wilson with @Properties a call for your next move. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Lauren Wilson with @Properties. Okay, when we come back, we do talk about national issues if they're going to affect us back home. And the Republicans' inability to govern in Washington is affecting us back here at home. And we're going to talk about how now they're begging members of the Supreme Court to bail them out. You won't believe what they want the Supreme Court, some of our best members of the Supreme Court, by the way, to do. We'll talk about it coming up next. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with @Properties. Born and raised right here in central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, if you haven't today, hit that little thumbs up button. Give us a like. Give us a share. That share button. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you're at. Twitter. We have to grow organically. We have to grow through you. So we need that thumbs up. We call it like, share, subscribe. Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. And share the feed on your social media. Help us grow as we talk about Indiana news, politics, and government, unlike anybody else. Guys, here in just a minute, we've got to talk about how ridiculous the Republicans are and what they're now begging members of the Supreme Court to do to save them from their bad governance this fall. It's unbelievable. But first, our friends at Bramwell Mackay. Leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay. BRAMWELLMCKAY, your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. Okay, guys, before we get to how the Republicans are trying to beg the Supreme Court to save them, and this is amazing what they're asking the two best members of the Supreme Court to do. Bunch of you have asked about how you can help out the show. You like the show. You love the show. And by the way, somebody told me this. I don't know if this is true. Our old pal Ethan, he dropped a Duke of Spendingburg reference today over on the terrestrial radio show. I wish I could see his coworker's face when he did that. Panic 911. Ethan made a Rob Kendall reference on WIBC. Oh my gosh. Anyway, let us know. I should have copyrighted Duke of Spendingburg. Then I'd get some sort of royalty anytime somebody uses it. Bunch of you guys have asked how you can help out the show, and they say, "Hey, I don't own a business, don't run a business, but love what you do." We have that support button up at robkendallshow.com. We got the support button right there, and we always say we appreciate so many people that hit that support button over the weekend. Rochelle, Brittany, Tony, Louis Ann, all supporting our show, and I thought, be cool if we could do something for some of the very generous people that support our program. And so whether it's $1, $10, whatever it is, Jason and I, we are so appreciative of it, and we can't thank you enough. But if you're like, I'm feeling really generous today, I have so appreciated the 7 weeks of great local news, content, government, politics that I don't get anywhere else, and I'd like to say thanks. Here's what we're going to do. And we get a lot of people that give this amount, so it's not like it's some super unreasonable thing we're asking here. If you decide today you're going to hit the support button over at robkendallshow.com, here's what we're going to do. I am going to mail you $50. That's the number. 2 of these fabulous buttons. The Dirty Diego, Who Paid for India button. I mean, who wouldn't want to wear this when you're rolling around the State House? In fact, the next time I go over to the State House, I'm wearing the button. This fabulous Dirty Diego, Who Paid for India button, and a Rob Kendall is Right button. So not only you're helping the show anyway, are you going to get the Dirty Diego, Who Paid for India button, also the Rob Kendall is Right button, and I am going to mail you a signed copy of my fabulous book, Path Less Traveled, put together by Jason, by the way, and I will sign it. You bound it. You bound it. You put it together. $50. That's our donation level today. You will get the Dirty Diego button, the Rob Kendall is Right button, and the signed copy of the Rob Kendall book, all mailed via the United States Postal Service to you. You gonna throw one of your book? Well, here, toss that over here. And Jason says you can have one of his books as well. Do you have enough copies of these that we can mail these out? It's just money. Okay. Jason said he will throw in his book as well. So this is like a what's the PBS, like a telethon here. But wait, there's more. Okay, so $50, you get both books. Jason will sign his, I'll sign mine, the two buttons, and you can say, I am a loyal supporter of the Rob Kendall Show. All you got to do, go to robkendallshow.com, hit the support button, and we're all in this together. All right, perfect. Bam. That's a thick-ass book, dude. I didn't realize how thick that book actually was. Oh, one other thing. Another reason to go to robkendallshow.com. Thank you, Jason. In addition to giving us $50 and getting that fabulous merchandise. The billboard. We have a billboard up on our pal John Rust, fabulously as generously agreed to allow us to have access to his the digital billboard is what they call it. Now, it's one of those rotating billboards, so you may drive past it a couple times before you see it. But if you'd like to see the billboard, head over to robkendallshow.com. We've got the photo, what the billboard looks like right there at robkendallshow.com. Okay, let's get into the Republicans and what they're doing. This is amazing. So the Republicans in Washington have failed to deliver on the promises that they made you. And that promise was to get inflation under control and get affordability of living, bring down the cost of living. And it's not all that hard, guys. I'm not saying you can do it overnight, but the process is pretty simple. Here's how it works. Economics 101. The more of something you have, the less it's worth. So if you print a bunch of money, the less the money's going to be worth, which means you need more money to buy the stuff. Are you following me? Like, that's basics. The more you have of something, supply and demand. We're going back to Mr. Robinson's senior economics class. Got an A in that class. The more you have of something, the less it's generally worth. Supply and demand, right? So, being elected, pretty simple, right? You run on affordability, you run on cost of living. We're gonna get inflation under control. Stop printing money. Like, it's just that simple. And you know how you stop printing money? By stop spending so much money. Stop spending so much money. It's basic. It's math, right? We spend less. We have to print less. We have to print less. The dollar's worth more. Bing, bang, boom. Public education math, right there. Public education system, right there. And yet the Republicans have done the exact opposite. I think we're on time number 10 or 12 or 15 of the Republicans running on, we've learned our lesson. We're really sorry. We get it. Give us another chance. We'll take care of it this time. And then they get in there and they do the thing they always did. They go full force into the legalized vote buying system. And the only way you can keep up or expand the legalized vote buying system, which the Republicans and Democrats are both wholly invested in, is to print more money. And printing more money means more inflation. And more inflation means things cost more. And things costing more mean the price of everything goes up, which means people can't afford to buy things. Because wages are not keeping pace with inflation. We realize that, right? Wages are not keeping pace with inflation. So your dollar is worth less. So the $1 you had today is worth less every single day that you have it. And people are pissed off, as they should be. If someone tells you, if you hire someone to do a job, like let's just say you hired the fine folks at Seal Now to paint your deck, to revamp your deck, to bring your deck back to life. Seal Now, they do it all. Decks, concrete, you name it. SealNow.com. SealNow.com. But you hire them, and we'll be telling you more in the next hour about Seal Now. But you hire them to do your job. Of course, they're great. They're going to come out. They're going to give you the estimate. Your project qualifies. You're going to get that 20% discount if you mention Rob Kendall's show. We'll tell you more about that again next hour. You expect them to do the job. If they don't bring your deck back to life, if they don't do the project that you paid them to do, you're going to be pissed off. And you're going to go to another company, right? They couldn't do the job. You go to another company. That's what the voters are saying. Hey, Republicans, we hired you to do this job. There was one key responsibility you had, except instead of bring a deck back to life, it's get affordability of living under control. Stop letting prices outpace our wages. Stop letting prices of everything keep going up. We want to be able to afford food and rent. Pretty simple. Pretty basic. And the Republicans haven't done it, and people are pissed. And poll after poll shows the Republicans are headed for a bloodbath this November in the elections. And so the Hill has this article that instead of saying, you know what? These people are right. We did campaign on getting spending under control. We did campaign on governing the federal government in a more efficient, effective manner. We haven't done any of that. We really should get on that so we don't lose the election. No. You know what the Republicans' theory, their hope is? Their plan to stave off defeat in the midterm election? They're hoping that the two old guys on the Supreme Court retire. And by the way, the two old guys are Alito and Thomas, the two best guys, the two most rock-solid constitutionalists on the bench. The Republicans are so bad now, according to this article in The Hill, that their new plan to try to win the midterms is, well, it worked kind of well when Kennedy retired and we got Kavanaugh on the court. We were going to lose then, and people got kind of fired up about the court, so we were able to win with Kavanaugh. So, we'll try that again. Let's get rid of our two best Supreme Court justices, Alito and Thomas. Hey, grandpas, thanks for being rock solid and having great legal rulings for 30 plus years. Out of here, because we got an election to win. That's disgusting. But that's who the Republicans are now. It's not about better government. It's not about a government that's more aligned with the Constitution. It's not about having a judiciary that actually enforces the damn laws and the Constitution. It's about them winning an election. Their hope, and they're not even hiding from it. They're talking about it openly. Hey, maybe one of these old guys will call it quits. Listen to some of these quotes. Quote, if we did have a Supreme Court vacancy, obviously that would be a galvanizing issue for Republicans, said Senator John Cornyn of Texas. Of course, he's in his own primary and may be about to lose. Quote, an October surprise is when some issue comes up that people aren't expecting that completely changes the debate. That clearly is something that would be welcomed by the Trump administration going into the midterms, said Brian Darling, GOP strategist and former Senate aide. Quote, depends on their health, said Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. I don't know where this rumor came from. It may well be true. The response to Alito or Thomas leaving should be, oh, heck no. Like last I checked, these two guys weren't on death's door. The response should be, oh, heck no. Anybody but these guys. Why aren't they talking about Roberts going? Why isn't it Roberts is old too? He better get the hell out of here. These people don't give a damn about the government or better government. They don't give a damn about us. They're willing to lose the two best guys on the court if it might help them hang on to their majority, because their majority is what matters most. I saw that and I just thought, you've got to be freaking kidding me. The Republicans always show you who they are. Hey, buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps home buyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple: clear advice and personalized guidance so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes. Loansbygary.homes or call 317-695-5179 to learn more to get started today. Loansbygary.homes, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, in MLS, number 179207 with Verity Mortgage. In MLS, number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender. By the way, guys, I did want to point out on the deal, the giveaway with the books and the buttons. The buttons are in limited supply, so when we run out, the deal's off. So I don't know. We got like maybe, I don't know. I don't want to guesstimate how many of those Dirty Diego buttons. I'm sure Rust will give us more buttons. But for now, once I run out of buttons, the deal's off. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Take a break. What sort of fly-by-night operation you guys got working here? Rust, we're going to need more Dirty Diego buttons. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002 or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, website, robkendallshow.com. It's where all the magic happens. robkendallshow.com. Hey, I'm on Twitter, by the way, at Rob M. Kendall. A lot of the things we talk about here, we talk about over there. We do it a little more spicy way on Twitter. too, at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. And if you haven't yet, please give us a thumbs up. Hit that little thumbs up there on the YouTube feed. Let people know you like the show. Subscribe to the channel and share the feed. Let people know we are out here talking about Indiana news, politics, and government. If we talk about national issues, we're going to talk about one here. It's about how it is something that affects us here in Indiana, and we tie it back to how it affects us here in Indiana. But we call that like, share, and subscribe. Hit the little thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share the feed. You got a Facebook page, you got a Twitter feed, whatever it is, let people know about the Rob Kendall Show. Okay, we got to talk about what's going on with the NFL, and obviously that impacts us because we have one, maybe two NFL teams now here in Indiana. So we'll talk about that here in a second. It's actually a really big deal, and it will affect how you're able to consume the NFL. This is really interesting. But first, most people think bathroom fans are just about cleaning the mirror. It's not. It's about what your family's breathing. The steam hangs in the air after a shower, and that moisture can soak up into drywall and ceilings. That's how mold starts. Ooh, the M word. And you don't want to see it until it's a real problem, or you don't always see it. You don't want to see it ever, but you don't always see it until it's a real problem. Jason and I once slept in a building with mold. Maybe we can tell that story during the YouTube comment today. Something's bad gonna happen to me because of that. But anyway, poor ventilation can affect air quality throughout your home. You should call Vent Savvy. VENTSAVVY.com. VENTSAVVY.com. Mention our show, Rob Kendall Show. And here's what's gonna happen. John, the owner, he's gonna come out to your house totally free of charge. And he's gonna take a look around. He's gonna see is your vent installed properly? Is it doing what it's supposed to do? Then he's going to crawl around in your attic. He's going to check out. He's going to check for the mold, the damage that we talked about. And if he finds something, he'll tell you about it. Here's what's going on. Here's the possible solution. It's in your hands. If he finds nothing, you got peace of mind. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain. Vent Savvy. VENTSAVVY.com. VENTSAVVY.com. Okay, so The Hill had an interesting article about the federal government potentially going at the National Football League. And this could affect how we here in Indianapolis and across the state of Indiana are able to consume NFL broadcasts. So the NFL has been the beneficiary for 65 years now of what's called the Sports Broadcasting Act. And that was a law passed by Congress in 1961 that allowed the National Football League, professional football teams specifically, the ability to collectively license what they called, quote unquote, sponsored telecasts of their games to national broadcast networks. Now, the key with this, so basically it gave them an antitrust exemption to collude together because each NFL team is its own franchise, right? It's its own business. And they got the ability to legally essentially collude together for a television deal because it was over-the-air broadcast national television available to the public, right? The NFL comes together as one league, the National Football League. We want to come up with a league-wide television deal in the 60s, and the Congress said, okay, you can do this. You can collude together because you're doing it over free television. Now, of course, the league got paid by the broadcast networks, NBC, CBS, ABC, later Fox. But the product was made available to the public for free. So Congress said, okay, we see a serving the public good by allowing you to do this. And they have been protected for 65 years to be able to do this. Now, over time, the National Football League has grown far outside of just over-the-air broadcast television. You've got cable, right? And cable costs money. Not everyone has access to cable. But at least if you have cable, which a lot of people do, you get most of the channels. You get probably ESPN. You get the NFL Network. And so they were still allowed to have this special exemption that allowed them to collude together, collusion, antitrust, right? Or antitrust exemption to put together a television deal. But now that the NFL is branching more and more out into streaming, Congress is saying, wait a second, because the public is getting pissed off. The public has done the math, as have other news outlets, And they estimate that you would have to pay for all the streaming services required for a year to watch every NFL game. It's $1,000 to subscribe to the 10 streaming services required to watch every NFL game this year. And that's also backed up by estimates from the Federal Communications Commission. And people are saying, wait a second. This league has this special exemption to negotiate all of these deals that other people would get in trouble for. And it was an exemption that was birthed out of, we're putting this on over-the-air television that the American public can consume at no charge. Well, now the American public has to pay $1,000. That certainly sounds like a charge, and they're only able to do this because they have this special exemption. So, Jennifer Reif is an analyst with Bloomberg Intelligence, and here's what she had to say about it. Quote, "It's pretty clear this administration is focusing on these sorts of consumer-facing sensitive industries." She's talking about the Trump administration, because the DOJ is now getting involved. The DOJ is launching an investigation into this about whether this exemption should be struck down. It's pretty clear this administration is focusing on these sorts of consumer-facing sensitive industries that they know people can get excited about. It's food, it's healthcare, it's football on TV. The question is, can the NFL still be allowed to collectively pull its TV rights on streaming like they were for over-the-air broadcasts? And I think the answer is going to be no. I think you're going to see a major shift in how the federal government manages. And look, this will come down for the National Football League. It will come down for Major League Baseball. It will come down for the National Basketball Association, all of them, because they're all moving more and more towards streaming. They're all moving more and more towards pay per watch programming. And they did this essentially with cable, but so many people had cable that they were sort of able to fly under the radar. They were sort of able to push back on any sort of outrage that people were having. They were using this exemption. Now, what's interesting, and this is where you should be really outraged. According to The Hill, the NFL has spent more in the past year, totaling more than $1 million in essentially lobbying and public relations efforts in Washington, D.C. So they spent more than $1 million in campaign contributions last year. So they're spending much more than $1 million in lobbying and PR. But their campaign contributions, more than $1 million, according to The Hill. Think about that. Think about how Washington works. What'd the NFL do? Oh, crap. They're coming for our special exemption. What's the first thing they do? Let's give $1 million+ to the politicians. That'll solve it. Why? Because all these people are they can all be bought. So pay attention to this. This is going to be a big deal. This is really potentially going to affect how we watch NFL games in the future, and probably the National Basketball Association and probably Major League Baseball, because if one goes down, good chance they're all going down. All right. Let me tell you about our friends at Bramwell Mackay. Well, before we do that, let me tell you about our friends at Baltus Travel. We've got so many friends here. I can't keep track of all of our friends, which is awesome. By the way, support all of our advertisers. That is why they're with us. They support us because you support them. I can't tell you the amount of advertisers, all of them who have reached out to us. I got calls, I got this, I got that. You guys are the most loyal, amazing audience in the world. And we can't thank you enough for that, but we have to keep it up. We got great new sponsors that started today. We got Seal Now. If you got concrete patio, if you got a deck, if you've got a privacy fence, they do it all. All outdoor exterior stuff. Seal Now, they're the people. They can make it happen for you. We'll tell you more about them here in just a little bit. We've got Double D's Barbecue in Clayton that started today. These people are taking a chance on us because they've heard about it. In the case of Double D's and Seal Now, they heard about us from other people. Double D's found out about us from somebody sharing the feed, which we ask you to do. Seal Now found out about us from one of our other advertisers they do business with. So please support them. Even if you don't need the service in the moment, contact them, reach out to them, say, hey, thanks for Thanks for supporting Rob's show. When I need you, I'm going to call you. That goes a long way, too. You guys know I really hate to travel. I hate to leave my house. I have a serious fear of flying, which we talk about a lot. But the biggest reason, look, I'll get on an airplane. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Major reason, I don't like to leave my house. I don't like to go on trips. The planning thing, it's just overwhelming to me. I have the OCD, as you guys know, and I just struggle to even get started. But not anymore, because I have Adam Baltus and Baltus Travel Service. We are getting ready to get into travel season, guys. We are getting ready to start going places, summer vacations. Have a pro in your corner. Adam Baltus, Baltus Travel Service. He does it all. Hotels, rental cars, flights, you name it. Pretty much anywhere in the world you want to go, he can arrange it for you. And the great thing about using Adam, it doesn't, in most cases, make your trip cost a dime extra. You get his services, and it doesn't add to the cost in most travel circumstances. Here's what you do. You call today. 812-593-7561. 812-593-7561. Visit baltustravel.com, BALTUS travel.com. Adam is certified through most major cruise lines, as well as Disney, Universal theme parks. Get a free consultation. baltustravel.com. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Rod Bray is striking back on. You thought he was going to take the Turning Point USA, and he was going to take Trump, and he was going to take all of this BS lying down. Oh, no. Rod Bray, the big boss in the Senate, his job is on the line. If his guys go down, he could be going down too. And he is spending the cash big time to make sure that his guys stay in office. We'll talk about how much money these incumbent senators have behind them when we come back. Plus, producer Jason will have the best YouTube comments of the day. A lot more to get to. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, a realtor with App Properties. Born and raised right here in central Indiana and a Hoosier through and through. Selling your home is a massive undertaking, and I completely understand what that is. That's why when you work with me, we put a great plan together to make sure that when your home comes to the market, it is in the best light possible. Again, I'm Lauren Wilson, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Let's put a plan together and get your home sold.
I'm Doug Cobb for Clay County Commissioner. I'm running to bring transparency back to our local government. As a concerned citizen, I want to know what's going on. We need new and fresh ideas for today's challenges. We need a vision for future generations. As a small business owner, I want to explore and promote opportunities to make us all successful. Let's create a brighter future for Clay County together. I'm Doug Cobb, running for Clay County Commissioner, and I approve this message. Paid for by Linda Cheesem.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm John Piper. I'm running for Congress in Indiana. I'm the only candidate in the United States of America exposing the crisis we have in mother's breast milk. Purdue University is a major player in that. Purdue is selling our veterinarians to out-of-state corporations for big money. Bobby Kennedy needs to know about it effective immediately. We are 55,000 veterinarians short across the United States. My two major opponents, Craig Haggard and Jim Barrett, are both protecting the Iranian terror cell in Plainfield, Indiana. I'm John Piper. I approve this message. Paid for Friends for Piper for Congress.
Hey guys, welcome back. Rob Kendall Show. Hope you're having a great Monday. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget, follow along on Twitter at Rob M. Kendall. Visit the website, robkendallshow.com, robkendallshow.com. When you go there, live feed, all the on-demand podcast platforms, places you can get the show if you want to listen to us at your own leisure. We've got the articles from our favorite segments that we do each day. We write up little articles based on those segments. And then we got that support button, robkendallshow.com, big support button there. And if you missed it earlier, we got a special going on. You guys all were like, how do I get those Dirty Diego buttons? And so here's what we said we're going to do. And this is until we run out of the Dirty Diego buttons. If you give $50, if you support our show for $50 at robkendallshow.com, we're going to give you the Dirty Diego. It's our PBS broadcasting pledge, people. The Dirty Diego button, the Rob Kendall Was Right button, my book, Path Less Traveled, and producer Jason's book. We're going to ship them all out to you. You can have the official Rob Kendall Show fan club starter pack if you give the $50 over at robkendallshow.com. And by the way, if you give $2, we'll love you just the same. But we thought some people do give very generously, and it'd be nice to do something for those people. Hey guys, is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt all can cause unsightly damage that can end up in expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. You know, we're getting into spring, we're into summer. You're going to be doing those outdoor projects. Re-beautify your house. Make the concrete, the wood deck, make it look like new again. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help protect your outdoor surfaces. And man, these guys do incredible work that goes far beyond just the basics. Decorative concrete patios, including stamped concrete, exposed aggregate concrete sealing, concrete staining to add color, along with protection and more. Man, a couple of years ago, I did the power washing of my my driveway and my sidewalk, and it was just like, oh, this is brutal. This is brutal. Our guys from Seal Now, that's who you got to call. But they also do a lot more than just concrete. They do decks, fences, pergolas, any exterior concrete or outdoor wood structure that needs cleaned or maintained. Seal Now, they're your guys. Call today, 317-548-2002. 317-548-2002. Visit sealnow.com. Sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but you heard about Seal Now on our show. They're going to take 20% off any long-term sealing project. Guys, that's an incredible deal. You want the service anyway. You might as well get the 20% discount. Call today, 317-548-2002. Visit sealnow.com to see their work. Sealnow.com to see their work. All right, producer Jason's going to join us here in just a little bit. But before we do that, with our best YouTube comments of the day, reminder, if you haven't, like, share, and subscribe. That's our ask from you, the loyal, very, very passionate listeners and viewers of this show. Hit the little thumbs up button. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, give us that 5-star review. That really helps us out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. 2,500 subscribers is my goal today. Not that we're going to get 2,500 subscribers, but we're very close to 2,500 subscribers. That's the number I want to be to by the end of the day. Hit that subscribe button and share our feed, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, whatever you're doing. It's Indiana news, politics, and government, 2 hours a day, every day. Let people know we're out here. People love this when they find us. Let them know. You guys got those towny chatter boards? You know, get your town chatter board where people air all the dirty laundry for everybody else. Let them know about us there. Say, hey, if you're into Indiana politics, government news, Rob's here. See if people can go at each other's throat over just making that post. Here's a show about Indiana news, politics, and government. I hate you. You guys have those Facebook towny chatter boards? Put us up over there. See if we can get a response. Okay, so we've talked a lot about these insurgent challengers challenging incumbent senators, right? And the millions and millions of dollars the dark money's putting in, that group affiliated with Jim Banks, that the Turning Point USA, that the Trump people, Braun, his super PAC are putting in. What about the incumbents? Oh, they're anything but poor singing orphans. Listen to this. So the Capitol Chronicle broke down how much money these guys have brought in. Altogether, the Senate Majority Campaign Committee, so that's the Rod Bray arm. They should just call it Rod Bray Industries. This is help Rod Bray keep his job arm of the campaign, has spent more than $2.4 million in 2026, already eclipsing everything they spent in 2022. And it's primarily going to 7 incumbents who voted against redistricting. Now, guys, this is not about redistricting. This is about Rod Bray hanging on to his job. Rod Bray knows that if these 6 or 7 people, these challengers, win, he's done. He will not be the majority leader in the Senate. And so he doesn't, Rod Bray doesn't actually care about redistricting. It doesn't, like, one way or another, I think it was largely irrelevant to him. He didn't feel the votes were there. He fell on the sword for his guys in the Senate. That's what he did. And now he is supporting these guys financially because they will continue to support Rod Bray for leadership. I don't want Rod Bray to be the leader in the Senate. It's why I'm so damn mad that these people have run such crappy ass campaigns that are running against these incumbents. A lot of them need to go. And yet, I think a lot of them are going to stay because their challengers have not run good campaigns. So listen to some of these numbers that Rod Bray is throwing out to help these guys keep him in charge of the Senate. Listen to these numbers. Guys, let's come full circle on this. The hypocrisy of all of this. If this was about redistricting, if this was about winning that first congressional seat up in Northwest Indiana, all of this money should be going there. It should be going to whoever the Republican nominee is. It's not about this. It's not about that. This is a stick measuring contest, except it's not a stick. But we're a family-oriented program, and even though I could say the word I want to say, I'm not going to say the word. It's a stick measuring contest. This is a battle about supremacy. It's not a battle about you. It's not about a battle about better public policy. It's about subserviency to Trump on one side. It's about subserviency to Rod Bray on the other. And you're going to get screwed no matter who gets in there. We're not having debates about worthwhile public issues, public policy. We're fighting about Rod Bray and Donald Trump. All that money. Think of the tens of millions of dollars that are going to be spent by the time this is all said and done. How much it could help regular people. Hell, how much it could go win that first congressional district, which is what this is supposed to be all about. Listen to these dollars. Spencer Deary, West Lafayette, has, according to the Capitol Chronicle, has received the most from the Senate Majority Campaign Committee. About $595,000. One guy as of April 16th. Think about how many poor that could have fed, how many homeless that could have helped, how many displaced veterans we could have taken care of. Rod Bray says, I'm giving to this guy that's going to keep me in power because being the boss matters the most to me. Think about how many people that could have helped with property taxes. Like, seriously, $595,000, one guy. Let's do the math on this. Let's say the average increase in property taxes has been $500 over the past 4 years. Probably been more, but whatever. We'll just pick a nice round number. If you said we were going to offset everyone's increase at $500, that's 1,200 people that could have had their property taxes offset. Aren't we supposed to be helping people? Isn't that the reason we're supposed to be here? 1,200 people could have had their property taxes offset with the amount of money they're spending to save one guy. Cut it in half. Just say, well, we think you should have a little bit of suffering. We don't think you should ever actually own your home. We're fine if you get flushed out, but just not as fast. Let's say it was $300. $300. You double it, like that's thousands and thousands of people. At $300, what is that? $300, 600,000. That's what is that? That's 2,000 people, right? I'm doing public school math off the top of my head. Yeah, $300, 2,000 people. That's 2,000 people that could have had their property tax bill cut in half. One guy. Others, more than $313,000 was given in large donations. That's the big number where you got to claim them right away to Spencer Deary. Speaking of Spencer Deary, he's running against a woman by the name of Paula Copenhaver. And she's a big fat phony. Spencer Deary's just bad at his job. Paula Copenhaver's a big fat phony. And she won't come clean on why she left Todd Rokita's office and why she works for Micah Beckwith now. In fact, she was all glowing about the fact that Rokita endorsed her. And see, I can do this now because David Shelton walked into it during his interview. Remember that? Shelton walked into her. Now, he didn't name her. And I told him, I said, I'm not letting her get away with it because she knows what a bunch of bat cases these people are. And she won't open her mouth. So maybe if you guys remind me tomorrow, maybe we'll talk about why Paula Copenhaver left Todd Rokita's office and now works for Micah Beckwith. And we'll talk about how interesting it is that Beckwith hired her after he got rid of Aaron Sheridan, even though he said he got rid of Aaron Sheridan. Remember Aaron Sheridan? She's the one who told the truth about what was going on in the office. And then she's the one who alleges she saw the AI pornography. When I say told the truth, she talked about a lot of things that went on in the office not related to that. But she's the one who alleged that she saw the AI porn and reported it to Micah's chief of staff, and the people who were allegedly sharing the AI porn said, oh, Micah knew about it. When Micah got rid of Aaron, because Micah didn't want her in there because she was telling him what he couldn't do in his office because that place is run like the Wild West, Micah tried to go, oh, we just didn't need the position anymore. Well, he hired Paula Copenhaver, who I don't know if they make the exact same amount of money, but if you guys remind me tomorrow, maybe we'll get into, since Paula won't, since Paul, I wasn't going to say it. And then Paula did Todd has endorsed me and it's wonderful. And I'm so happy to have Todd's endorsement. I think I've had enough of her. So if you guys remind me tomorrow, maybe we'll talk about why Paula's not in Todd's office anymore and why she's over in Micah Beckwith's office. Anyway, but you guys got to remind me. Got to remind me about it tomorrow. And if we have time, we'll do it. I never know how busy we're going to be one show to the next. Anyway, that's who Spencer Deary's running against. Linda Rogers from Granger got $492,000 from the Rod Bray Protection Fund. Greg Good, $410,000. Other Jim Buck got $183,000. Dan Dernolk, $140,000. I mean, like, they're spending huge money. Now, the only thing that's interesting is the only person on this list who got money that voted for redistricting was the lady up in Fort Wayne, Liz Brown. She got money. Now, she got money because she only voted for redistricting because she knows she's going down, or she felt like she's going down. I don't know. Maybe she'll win her race, but she's in big trouble because Banks and Rokita are spending huge money on her opposition up there. And she desperately wanted that Trump endorsement, which she got, which shows the whole hypocrisy of all of this. But Liz Brown, she's a total liberal Bray ass kisser, and Bray knows she will keep him in office. So they gave money to her too. But it's interesting. You also can kind of see, if you look at the money, where they think the biggest challengers are. So clearly it's Good in Terre Haute, and it's Spencer Deary in Lafayette. They think are going to be the most likely to go down. And that's why there's such a big difference in terms of dollars that have been given out from the Protect Rod Bray campaign fund. All right, we'll get to Jason here in just a moment. But first, buying a home is the biggest investment you'll ever make, but it's about so much more than a price tag. It's about your next chapter. When you work with Lauren Wilson, her goal is to make sure you feel 100% confident in every decision you make. She's not just there to show houses. She's there to guide you through the schools, the neighborhoods, and the local routes that make Central Indiana special. With Lauren Wilson, you get the local expertise of a lifelong Hoosier and the peace of mind knowing you'll have a dedicated advocate in your corner. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. Lauren Wilson with At Properties. She would love the opportunity to get to know you, whether you're in the market to sell a home right now or not. She'd love just to get to know you. Then you'll have her on speed dial when that time comes. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. And with that, it is time for the YouTube comments. Best of the day. Producer Jason comes in to read those. Producer Jason, hello.
How we doing, Rob?
I'm great.
Believe I might be a little hot there. If anybody can let me know in the chat how the audio sounds.
You cannot monitor this program and be on the air because of the echo.
It's crazy, but
it's not radio.
Well, it doesn't allow us to do that in this computer. But we did make a new setup, so hopefully it sounds a little better for the listeners out there. The chat brought to you, Rob, by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to the plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John can do the job right at a fraction of the cost of the big guys. Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Give them a call, Black Sheep Plumbing, 765 765-315-7558, 765-315-7558. Reading that the entire time, not even knowing if I was on. But according to Andy Engel, audio sounds great. LD Stoltz, audio is good. Steve Green with an E, sounds good. Maddock, hey, producer Jason. Well, hey, Mad Duck. All right, so sounds like I'm on the air, Rob. I think this should pretty much solve our problem. Maybe a little echo. I don't know. I need to be in this thing. But this should solve our problem to where I shouldn't have to ask every day if we're on the air. So
very exciting.
Maybe one day Rob will buy me a set of headphones and I can... No, it won't even work.
That's definitely the problem.
That's one saving, the one expense we didn't have to spend.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the chat, Rob?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's get to it. Carol, 1776. Sounds very patriotic there. Morning, all. Looking forward to another great show with Rob and Jason.
Oh, yes.
Imbalore. I know that Rob is almost all politics all the time, but I'm looking forward to his Bob and Tom stories.
And we opened the show with the tribute to Bob Kevoian. That's right. Yes, we did.
If you missed it, go back and listen to it. Steve Green with an E, at producer Jason. It's a great day to find my special purpose. Let's go.
I like that.
Just a nice positive comment.
I like
there.
that. Every day you should find your special purpose.
McLovins, good morning. Happy 420, y'all. Rob covered 420 in Illinois. I bet all these states are having a boom day-to-day tax-wise. I mean, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan all sell weed. It's 420 day for all the dope heads out there. My dad used to say the pot heads.
now,
a lot of taxes, a lot of tax money being brought in. Indiana just sitting there going, we're going to have to put a toll on our roads.
True. So I'm sure you remember this, and Jason will vouch for this. I have never done any illegal drugs. I have.
I've tried. He won't.
I'm crazy enough as is. Remember when we had the radio station in North Carolina and the local news guy who obviously had met me and he was convinced.
Right. He was mad that you did not own up to the fact that you smoked weed or something. I'm like, dude, he doesn't. No, there's no way Rob Kendall doesn't smoke pot. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And back then I didn't even drink.
And Donald Trump, the only two people I've ever heard of in history and my mom that haven't smoked weed.
No, never.
Yeah. And me. I've never would never do anything like that.
And then I till my early 20s I never drank or anything, and then I was like, well, this is dumb.
Yeah, it is. That's kind of
you got to do something.
Yeah, you got to numb that brain. Andy Engel, the mic boom is on the opposite side today.
Somebody noticed.
Actually, several people noticed it.
That's awesome that they noticed that. I love that. That's
MLM
great.
Warriors, I noticed the microphone is coming from the opposite direction. All right, excellent. MLM Warriors, audio sounds great. Great job, producer Jason. Well, thank you very much. Imbalore, I saw the billboard in Greenwood.
Oh, yeah?
On the way in this morning. Yes, I pass it every day as I get off the Greenwood exit there, and I usually catch it in my rearview mirror oftentimes. But there it is in all your splendor and glory, Rob. All right, let's see. MLM Warriors, Rob, you're doing a great story to Bob. You are doing a great story to Bob. Bob and Tom race morning was great.
You know, one of the things about Bob and Tom and I know we got into a little bit, and somebody who did get into this was Mark Patrick, and one of his, most of you guys will, longtime Indy lifers will know Mark Patrick, very famous media personality, TV, did the news, sports on Wish TV for years, hosted the Hoosier Millionaire, was a big part of the early Bob and Tom. He wrote a really, really great tribute to Bob Kevoian, and he was talking about the generosity of Bob. And he was saying, I love this. Bob was so generous with his money that Bob would go to like these, these galas or whatever, and there would be some item they'd be auctioning off and it wasn't getting the price it was worth. And he would start literally bidding against himself. And Mark was like, I would tell him, Bob, you're bidding against yourself. And he'd be like, well, somebody's got to get these prices up. They're just not at the applicable prices.
Guy.
But Bob and Tom collectively for years and years and years, I don't know if they still do the albums anymore. I doubt that they do still do, but they used to do
I doubt
CDs.
I can't imagine they would.
Which were wildly popular, and those all went to charity. Like they were Tom as well. And it's fascinating because Tom to me I've always said Tom is one of the most intriguing people I've ever experienced.
It's like you want to hate him and you want to like him at the same time. It's different.
Tom is a radio genius, and he but he's also maddeningly frustrating and I've heard that from numerous people who have worked with him. But I think Tom Griswold's one of the most interesting people who has ever lived. But while Tom had this sort of abrasive demeanor sort of about him,
very cocky,
but I think Tom is literally brilliant. I think that's part of it.
Right.
Is I think Tom.
There's always a brilliant guy behind the talent.
Well, that's my point. And I think Tom was Ivy League educated, IQ off the charts. Bob countered that with his everyman persona, and that was part of the charm of those guys. You had two guys who were best friends.
Just a smart ass guy at the bar.
Yeah,
like your buddy's just always got a smart ass comment.
And he's hilarious. And it was so it was fascinating that those two guys built. But my point is, they were both very generous and gave a lot of money to local charities.
Trivia question: who was the morning chick before Bob and Tom? Not Chick McGee, the actual female.
Libby.
That's right. Yeah, I used to go to high school listening to Libby.
So
yeah, she was hot on the radio.
Libby,
and I mean in person, I'm sure too. I didn't mean that as a slight. I meant that as a kid, you're listening to her like, damn, she's hot.
So you're talking about little fun here. I know people enjoy when we do this. You're talking about Libby Farr, who was years as the afternoon chick on KLU,
right,
and was over at 107.9 for a while, and then was the morning chick on KLU after Russ bought it. She started doing mornings. And she
Russ Oasis, right?
Russ Oasis. Yeah. And when she was the program director at 101.9 too, but she was for a brief period of time when Christy Lee left for a period, I believe, she was the morning chick on Bob and Tom.
Right. There was a lot of cast of characters there, but yeah. All right, Andy Engel, speaking of passing of Bob, I understand the feeling. When Rush passed away, I felt as though I had lost a friend I had never met. I felt some pretty sad emotions.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people represent that as well. Old Guy KS, each generation has theirs. Mine, Johnny Carson, Paul Harvey, Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
All right, Young Kim Young.
Yes.
Decades of wonderfully funny entertainment. Thanks, Bob and Tom. Bob, you will be missed. Rest in peace. MLM Warriors, great segment about Bob. The Old Man 68. I was in college when they started their show in Indy. They were great to listen to. Jan Hatch, nice tribute, Rob. Thank you. And let's see, what else do we got here? Oh, MLM Warriors back. I shared the feed.
Oh, thank you.
I pressed the thumbs up.
Thank you.
No thumbs down for me.
Thank you.
All right.
Very good.
Shauna Smith. I believe Shauna may be new in the...
yes, I know Shauna. She's a big fan of what we do. She's awesome.
All right. I shared the show on my Facebook page.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Mad Duck. I met the love of my life 3 years ago today.
Congratulations.
She goes on to add, I hope my husband's not lurking in the chat. I love that one. That was a good one. That's the kind of fun you get in this chat, people. I'm only reading 20 out of 500. We get 400 to 500 chat comments a day. It's incredible. The 06010 board.
Oh yeah, I know him. He's famous on Twitter.
Everybody.
He's hilarious on Twitter.
The Rob Kendall is right shirt needs to have all the sponsors on the back like a Little League baseball shirt. Carol 1776 adds, the Rob shirt should be like the old concert shirts that had the 3/4 sleeves. They were so cool back in the day. That's a thought. Concert T-shirts.
Do you know how to do merch?
No.
Will you learn?
No.
Well, then how are we going to do the merch?
We need a third person.
Well, I bet Vaughn can do it.
I
bet Vaughn.
Okay, I'll do it. Let's see. I'll schedule the merch in between 10 p.m. and midnight. I think I got a couple hours there.
No. Seriously, I bet we could put Vaughn in charge of that.
When we worked at WKLU, they would literally, the owners would go down in the basement and they bought a T-shirt making machine because they were so cheap. And we'd make these T-shirts, and if you got caught wearing one, you got reprimanded. Those are for listeners, not for the staff. You're wasting. Give me $12.
There was a lady. So we're talking about when I first met Jason and then went to work as an intern. I worked at a radio station. It was WKLU 101.9. It was in an abandoned. It was in an abandoned pet store on Green Street in Brownsburg. If you drive past, it's a house now. It's been renovated. It's a house sat up on a hill, and it was run by two brothers. One of them, a very, very well-known figure in in indie radio. Bruce, the radio pirate, phenomenal human being.
Yes.
Bruce is just
blind and radio guy.
Yeah, literally called the pirate for a variety of reasons, but he was also he was blind. And by the way, my first job was to drive Bruce places.
You couldn't do this show blind. You can do it deaf, but you can't do it blind.
And so he literally could run a radio station blind. He was a phenomenal guy. Still alive as a station in Columbus that he runs now. And I think it's in Seymour as well. I think it's simulcast in Seymour. And WHUM, great guy. And
the Hummer.
There was a lady who, I mean, this station was like just straight out of WKRP. And the other brother,
it was like the white trash WKRP kind of in a good way. It was
fun because I didn't have to make a living working there. I was 18 years old at the time, so 19, 20, I just kept going, right? But the other brother's girlfriend, she wasn't his wife, right?
Right.
She just, I don't know if
she sure acted like she owned the place.
She anointed herself this or got pointed this, but she.
Can I say we called her Sarge?
Yeah, she like sat up front of the radio station when you would walk in the front door. And she was traffic her job? Like, I don't know what her actual job was, but she was the de facto, like, program director, boss.
But she never did anything.
They would, like, if the brothers didn't want to make a choice, they'd defer to her. You'd have to go ask her for stuff.
She's one of those people when you walk into the station, she's got a scowl on her face looking at you like, you're going to cause trouble today, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, it's just like, what are you angry about?
Why did we hire him?
But Bruce was awesome. He was great.
Bruce was good. Okay, not sure why we got there, but we'll continue on. Andy,
the T-shirts.
The T-shirts. Oh, Andy Ingalls says, I believe it was Andy said he'll take care of the merch for us. So we got a guy.
Oh, cool.
I don't know how legit he is, but we'll find out. He also adds, what are we going to do after May 5th when these Doug Cobb commercials go away? Linda.
We got to find Linda Cheatham to pay for something else. That's what we got to do.
Jim Neely saw the billboard this morning.
Oh, yes.
Excellent. All right. Let's see what else we got here. People want us to get on Rumble. We're on everything, but we're not on Rumble. I'll have to check out Rumble. It's
a streaming service.
Okay. Well,
it's a video service.
Apparently it's above my head. I don't know. I'll check it out.
We got the capability to. It's something we toyed with in the beginning.
Does it cost money?
No. It's free. But we got to be able to stream to multiple places. And I know there was some issue with us not wanting to do that in the beginning.
Okay.
2 places at once, right?
Right. I mean, I don't know if
After you get the merch,
I'd be asking a lot.
After you do the merch, then get on figuring out if we can also be on Rumble.
There we go. Who wants to figure out Rumble for us? Mad Duck. Do we sing that to the tune of Michael Jackson's "Dirty Diana"? That'd be the button. Dirty Diego.
Oh,
Dirty Diego.
Well, there was a
what's his face did?
Yeah, Jerry Lopez did a theme song. Somebody, if somebody has ability to communicate with people at IBC, I do not. If you have the ability to communicate with them, ask them if they still have the Dirty Diego theme song, because we.
Sure, he would be playing. I'm sure they play that. Doesn't he fill in a lot on?
I'm sure they don't have the stones to use it anymore. So ask him if we can have it, because I'd like to use that.
All right, final one here before we get to our $50 book thing. Andy Engel, wow, Seal Now, new sponsor, Seal Now.
Yes,
has a perfect 5.0 rating out of 171 reviews on Google.
Our guy Damon was in here the other day. He's not messing around. He's very businesslike. I met Damon for the first time. Damon's the owner of Seal Now. And he is like straight out of Central Casting. Like, this guy will show up to your house. He will get to work. He will kick ass. He will take names. He is there to conquer whatever task you give him. And I was like, you're perfect for our audience. So yeah, Damon and Seal Now, they're great guys.
Right. And look, and we don't let people on that we don't really vet. We're not going to send somebody to your house that's going to steal your jewelry. Now, that can happen to anybody or any, obviously we're
not accountable for it.
We're not accountable for it, but we kind of have a pretty good idea who these people are. So, and that to me is the one reason I put off calling people like service or whatever, because like, I don't want these guys, I don't know who's coming to my house. And these people come in delivering your washer and dryer and you're looking at them. It's like, I should have picked that stuff up because now they see what I got. So that is a concern, a legitimate concern.
Just for the record, if one of these guys goes haywire, we're not accountable for it. We're not saying we've done a criminal, full criminal investigation into these people, but we do our best of what we can, what's available to us on the internet, to try to make sure they're decent members of society.
That's right. Okay, so real quick, the book giveaway. We what was it? $50. You get 2 books and a button.
So here's what we're doing. because so many people have given so generously over at robkendallshow.com. Rust printed us those buttons. If you give $50 at robkendallshow.com, you will get the Dirty Diego button while they last. So once they're gone, they're gone. The Dirty Diego button, the Rob Kendall was right button, as long as they last. Once they're gone, they're gone. My book, Path Less Traveled, and Jason's book, which is?
Well, I've got 5 in the series, so I think I'm gonna pick book number 4.
Which is?
There's 5 of them. The Painkiller. This is real quick. Just give like 30-second setup here. I did this series, this trilogy that ended up 5 books, but it started out Manny Barlow, this detective from Indianapolis police detective, and he goes out and he solves these serial killer crimes and everything. But then people were asking about this girl I put in the book, and so I thought, well, I'll go back and do a prequel and explain her story. It's my favorite one. It's called The Painkiller. It's about a serial killer dentist in Indianapolis. I can tell you that up front because the first page, you know who it's one of those, you know who the killer is.
Right.
It's just a cat and mouse game for the detective, who's the chick, and she has an underling, and they have to chase this guy, and you find out who dies. And I don't make mine real stereotypical. I like to put different type of little things you don't expect in there.
They can find all your books on Amazon.
That's my favorite one. The Painkiller, you can find it on Amazon.
All the books. Jason Dozier.
Right. If you look up, Jason Dozier, but if you look up Manny Barlow, who's the main character, Barlow, easier to spell than Dozier. Yep. So Manny Barlow, you'll see all 5 books there. Buy book number 4 first. Technically, the chronological order.
No, give the $50 at robkendallshow.com, and then we'll send them the book.
And if we're like all out of everything, and then they have to go buy one, buy book number 4 first, book number 5, then 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
I didn't know you were going to throw that in as part of the giveaway, and so
now it's going to cost you more to mail.
Yeah, that's why I was like, "What the hell are you doing?
$15 in mailing."
Yes, we're going to lose money on this deal.
My book's thicker than your book.
Yeah, it's a lot thicker than
my book's bigger than your book.
yeah.
All right, so that's going to do it for me and this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. Give them a call, 765-315-7558. And with that, I'm out of here, Rob. I'll give you the last 2 minutes of the show for yourself.
Thank you very much, Jason. Masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye. Not happy with the brick color on your home and ready for a total makeover? Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior, want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patios, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, beauty built to endure. All right, we're back at it again tomorrow, 10 until noon. Guys, again, want to thank you for being a part of the program with us each and every day, and still plenty of time. If you missed any part of the show, obviously on demand here on YouTube, you can catch us on Apple, on Spotify. We need you guys to help us to continue to grow. The ways you can do that: number 1, support our advertisers. Let them know you heard their announcement right here on our show. Also, the like, the share, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. Share the feed on Facebook, on Twitter. Let people know that we are here. And every day we grow a little bit. And every day we grow, it's one more set of eyeballs, one more set of ears that hear about what's going on with Indiana news and politics and government. And our hope is that those people, the thousands that listen, the thousands that watch every day, will become more informed citizens, and they will go out and try to influence in their communities. That's the goal of what we're doing here today, but we can't do it without you guys. We are all in this together. So that is going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. For producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.